The wine glass shattered before I realized I'd dropped it. Crystal burst cross tile like a small, private explosion. No one noticed. They were laughing. My nephew's chair scraped back, his words swam thick, sloppy, practiced. Mom says you're a walking wallet. He slurred. No one actually likes you. Silence tried to stand. Lauder pushed it back down. I felt the heat crawl up my neck. My hands went cold, the room tilted, not from the wine, but from the way truth can feel like vertigo when it finally decides to speak. I stood, quietly. I remember the roast steaming. The chandelier humming. My sister's smile frozen in a shape that wasn't surprise. I left before anyone could apologize for the wrong thing. Outside the night breathed on me. I didn't cry. I cataloged. The way my name sounded when it wasn't there to defend itself. The way the joke landed because it had rehearsed. The way betrayal never needs volume to be heard. 2 days later. The group chat began screaming in AL caps, but that comes later. First, the lie I'd been living. I was the uncle who paid college tuitions, emergency roofs, quiet loans that never returned. I told myself I liked being useful. I told myself love was leverage you never had to pull. At dinners, I sat near the end of the table, refilling glasses, laughing a half beat late. Generosity had become my costume. It fit too well. My sister learned early how to ask without asking. A look, a sigh. You're so good with numbers. I learned how to say yes without words. I learned how to mistake proximity for affection. I didn't hear the contempt until it got drunk. The signs had been there. A calendar invite. Accidentally. Sent to everyone but me. A joke about my job that landed too cleanly to be new. The way conversations paused when I entered, then resumed thinner. I noticed the accounting too. Requests rotted through my sister, never directly. Gratitude expressed publicly, privately converted into expectation. When I hesitated once, just once, about funding a cousin's startup with no plan, the air changed. I felt it. Cold. Mathematical. I told myself families ebb. I told myself to stop imagining shadows. Then Sunday dinner told me the truth with a child's mouth and an adult's permission. I went home and sat in the dark. The house ticked. My phone lit up with messages that apologized around the truth, never to it. He didn't mean it. You know how he gets. We love you. Love, I learned, is a word that requires receipts. I opened my laptop. I didn't open the group chat. I opened the files. For years I had been the quiet fix. Payments, transferentees. I had co-signed more than loans. I had co-signed illusions. My name threaded through their lives like a hidden spine. I saw it clearly now, the way you see a pattern once someone circles it in red. I didn't rage. Rage is noisy. I made a list. The proof arrived by accident, like it always does. An email forwarded to the wrong address. My sister's tone was casual, efficient. He'll cover it. He always does. If he asks questions, remind him it's for family. Another line, smaller, sharper. He needs us more than we need him. I read it twice. Then again, slower. The sentence didn't bruise me. It clarified me. Trust didn't shatter. It aligned. I called my sister. I kept my voice level. I asked about Sunday. She laughed it off. She told me not to be sensitive. She told me I was overthinking. When I mentioned the email, there was a pause long enough to feel. She pivoted. She scolded. She reminded me of everything she'd done for me. Childhood favors inflated into lifelong debts. When I said I was hurt, she said I was dramatic. When I said I was done being joked about, she said I was ungrateful. The floor didn't drop, it disappeared. I ended the call politely. Politeness is useful. It keeps doors open long enough to exit properly. I spent the next day learning everything I'd wanted to know. I reviewed the trusts. The contingencies. The clauses I'd skimmed because trust had made me lazy. There were quiet mechanisms in place. Mechanisms that assumed my endless compliance. I changed that assumption. No speeches. No ultimatums. I made phone calls with people who speak softly and bill hourly. I asked questions that had answers. I signed papers that weighed almost nothing and changed everything. I rerouted funding through structures that required accountability. I removed my name from guarantees. I converted help into scholarships with boards. I froze discretionary transfers pending audits. I established timelines, conditions, transparency. It was all legal. It was all mine to do. It took less than an afternoon. Power, I learned, doesn't need to announce itself. It just needs to be precise. The group chat woke up screaming. AL caps. Question marks. Accusations dressed as concern. Ice TAAS, a motor de mi fis fra ilan and I TSE fikitui. I watched the messages stack like a building fire. No one asked how I was. They asked what I'd done. My sister called 12 times. I let it ring. I imagined Sunday dinner, the laugh, the wine glass. I imagined my nephew's words sinking into silence where they belonged. When I finally replied, it was one sentence. Calm, clear. Going forward, I'm happy to help within transparent structures that don't confuse generosity with obligation. The chat paused. Then erupted harder. They came to my house the next morning. My sister first, eyes red, voice trembling into righteousness. She accused me of punishing a child for a joke. She accused me of control. She accused me of betrayal. I listened. When she finished, I told her I loved her. Then I told her I would no longer subsidize contempt. I told her the open for accountability, not entitlement. I told her this was the last conversation we would have about money. She called me cold. I agreed. Cold keeps things from rotting, my nephew texted later. Apology spelled poorly. Copied cleanly. I didn't reply. Children learn from the rooms they grow up in. Adults are responsible for furnishing those rooms. The fallout was surgical. Cousins scrambled. Plans evaporated. A wedding downsized. A business pitch found gravity. The family discovered the difference between support and dependence, and they did not enjoy the lesson. I wasn't cruel. I was consistent. When documentation appeared, funds resumed, through channels that watched. When it didn't, silence did the talking. Weeks passed. The noise dimmed. Relationships recalibrated or collapsed. Both outcomes were honest. I think about Sunday dinner sometimes. The way laughter can sound like safety until it turns. The way I mistook proximity for care. The way being liked is not the same as being valued. I didn't win anything. I reclaimed myself. Now, when I sit at a table, I sit where I choose. My glass stays in my hand. My generosity has borders, my silence has purpose, and when my phone lights up, it does so quietly,